Hi, and welcome to Chapter 7, Retailing commas in words, phrases, and clause. Okay, let's take a look at this. Comma usage. So now, commas, again, more information on commas. Don't stop there. Commas that are used within a sentence show relationships between words, phrases, or clauses. So if you need to know more about phrases and clauses, we looked at that in the previous chapters. Right? So series of words, phrases, and clause. Here we go. This is rule 7.1. We're in the same vein. We're not going to change right through this course. It is the rules that we look for that you'll need to memorize or need to understand and know. 7.1, use a comma after each item in a series of words, phrases, or clauses, including the item before the conjunctions, such as and, or nor. Here is an example. Our year-end sale includes appliances, comma, home furnishings, comma, and rugs, period. Okay, so that's rule 7.1. You need the comma here, here, here. And if you had more, you would have to add more commas. Okay? Non-restrictive clauses. This is rule 7.2, right? So use commas around non-restrictive clauses and phrases that are not essential to the meaning of the sentence. So non-restrictive clauses are phrases and clauses that are not essential. So let's look at the meaning of the sentence. Here we go. Our new line of handbags, comma, which is popular with the customers, comma, will be expanded. So what's inside the commas, including the word which, can be removed because that is a non-restrictive clause. So let's take it out and see how it sounds. Our new line of handbags will be expanded. Does that make sense? Is that a complete sentence? Yes, it is. But we've added information there, which is popular with the customers. In most cases, it is. This is something that is non-restrictive and it's an addition. So inside that, there are commas, right? Now, that's rule 7.2. Now, this is non-restrictive clauses. Now, restrictive clauses, do not use commas around restrictive clauses that are essential to the meaning of the sentence. Now, vice versa. Restrictive are essential to the meaning of the sentence. You do not use commas. This is rules as important as the previous one. An example is the customer who returned a damaged item was given a refund. That what you see there in bold is a restrictive clause. Now let's say we take that out and let's read it. The customer was given a refund. It is a complete thought, but we are missing essential information. Why was the customer given a refund? Right? We just don't know. And the answer is who returned the damaged item. So the customer who returned the damaged item was given a refund. This is a restrictive clause. Again, terminology in the English language plays a big part. As long as you know what the definitions are of the terms, you're going to do well. 7.4. Use of word that in a sentence. Here we go. This is rule 7.4. Do not use a comma before the word that when it introduces a clause that is essential to the meaning of the sentence. Again, if it's essential, you know you do not need a comma, right? So let's take a look at this. Again, the bold here is the actual sentence or the actual clause. Now let's see if this is important or not. The year-end sale that was scheduled for December has been postponed until January. Is this essential? Let's take a look at it if we remove it. The year-end sale has been postponed until January. It still does make sense, but it gives clarity when you add the essential part here that says that was scheduled for December. Okay? So here, do not use a comma. There is no commas here. Okay? All right. Now, this next one's a little tougher to remember, but again, the terminology that comes into play. Opposition, right? Rule 7.5. Use commas to separate words or phrases in opposition, right? These words or phrases give additional but non-essential information about the preceding noun or pronoun. So what is an opposition? Right here, right? The winter blues, right? So we need to separate words or phrases in opposition, right? So here we go. These are the oppositions. Guy Newman's latest novel, comma, The Winter Blues, is a bestseller. We know that if we know who Guy Newman's is, you can easily find out that the Winter Blues is his latest novel. So you can take this out and let's read it. Guy Newman's latest novel is a bestseller. So we know what his latest novel is, or we can easily find that out because we have the word latest, right? If we would have said Guy Newman's second to last, or if we would have said Guy Newman's favorite novel is a bestseller, we don't know what Guy Newman's favorite novel is. But because it's latest, and we know that he has written many novels, we can easily find out what that is. So, comma, The Winter Blues is a bestseller. This is considered to be non-essential. Again, non-essential, commas. Essential, no commas, right? Again, here is the next one. Again, opposition. Do not use a comma when a word or phrase in opposition is essential to identify the preceding noun, right? Here it is. The new book, this is an example. The new book, How to Shop on the Internet, is offered at a discount. Okay? As you can see, there are no commas. This tells you that how to shop on the internet is essential. Why? Because let's take it out, right? And now let's reread it. The new book is offered at a discount. Which new book? There are millions and billions of millions of new books, not billions, but millions of new books. So how do we know which one is offered at a discount? So we need more information. So how to shop on the internet is more information. This is the opposition, right? So the new book, How to Shop on the Internet, is offered at a discount. There are no commas. This is a 7.6 opposition rule, right? Essential, no commas. Non-essential, commas. Okay, here we go. We have a lot of rules in this one. 7.8, consecutive adjectives. This is a simple one, right? Use a comma to separate two or more consecutive adjectives that modify a noun. If and can be inserted between the two adjectives, they should be separated by a comma. So in other words, with and or without and, if they are adjectives, right, that modify a noun, of course, adjectives, that's what they do, then they need commas. Very simple. Here we go. Example, the scarves were made of a soft, comma, silky fabric, right? Again, there's no comma here. On the last one, on the last adjective before the noun, there is no comma. Soft, comma, silky fabric, right? Now, if you would add here just two of them, right? Soft and silky fabric, right? The scarves were made of a soft and silky fabric. Here can be inserted between the two adjectives. They should be separated by a comma, but you don't need to put one here, right? So the wool blend scarf is very attractive. Cannot insert and, no comma, right? So here, when there are two, you do not need a comma. If there are more than two, then you would need a comma, right? Okay, it says there should be separated, but it's not essential. If there's a third one here, then you would add the comma. So this will not be wrong. Silk, soft and silky fabric, no comma needed here, right? But if you had a third one, right, you could say beautiful, comma, soft, comma, and silky fabric. then you would need a comma. But in 2, it doesn't clarify it here, but you don't need it, right? Here, the wool blend scarf is very attractive. Cannot insert and. There is no comma here, okay? We can discuss number 7.7. 7.8, dates. Rule. Use commas to set off items and dates. When a year is used with other items in a date, place a comma after the year. This is always this way. It does not change, right? The date is always month, date, day, and year, comma, and comma. No doubt about it. No comma between March and the actual day, but March 15th, comma, 2007, comma, is the deadline for the tax return, okay? So you do need 2 commas here to separate the month and the date, and then also the year. This does not change. This is if you have a complete date, March 15th, comma, 2007, comma, right? Now, omit commas when only month and year are given. Like I said, if you have month, date, and year, you would need commas. If you're missing here, you're missing the actual day, there is no comma. The June 2007 edition highlights American folk art. There is no comma here, okay? Dates in foreign correspondence are expressed in day, month, year sequence. You're not going to be tested on this, but here, as you can see, and everywhere else, you will put usually the day in front of the month, and there is no commas. We will not be using this here. I should have taken that off. This is what we're going to be looking at. You will not be tested on foreign correspondence, okay? Not tested on this. Rule 7.9. A lot of rules and commas, right? Some of them are very, very simple, and some of them with the oppositions might be a little tougher one for you to understand. We can give you more examples, and we can take a look at your examples in your book. Common usage, cities and states, Rule 7.9. Use a comma between the name of a city and a state, or a city and a province, I should say. I should have changed this. It's not city and state. It is city and state, but it's city and province also. Place a comma after the name of the state or province when not followed by final punctuation, right? As you can see, we will be visiting Detroit, comma, Michigan, comma, before the and. This comma is because of the and. Toledo, comma, Ohio, period. No comma here at the very end, right? So this, you're separating Detroit, Michigan, which is 1, and Toledo, Ohio, which is 2. So this is a series. We will be visiting Detroit, Michigan, comma, and Toledo, Ohio. Toledo, comma, Ohio, okay? Now, here are some examples that you can take a look at and you can practice. Again, the answers are at the bottom. You can pause the screen. Please do these and don't come into and ask me 100 questions. Please, I don't mind answering questions, but if there are questions that are answered by the information I've given you, all you've got to do is look at it, and you are too lazy to do that, and then you come into class and ask me, I will tell you simply go look at the information or the video I have given you, okay? Now, we're going to look at something called parallelism, right? That's a tough word, parallelism. So what you got to remember is that it's parallel. What is something that is parallel? There are two things that are going side by side and they are exactly the same. They are parallel. They are the same, running the same way, right? In English, we like to have clarity and something that is readable. And if it's not parallel, right away we need to change it to make it parallel, only because of the rules in the English language tell you to do this. Now, is it really wrong if you don't parallel certain structures and sentences, which we'll get to in a minute? Not necessarily wrong. but grammatically tells you that it could be clearer in a sentence if you do use parallelism. Okay, so let's look and see exactly what that means. To ensure clarity and readability, sentences should be constructed in parallel form. That is, words or group of words, more likely, group of words, should be written in the same grammatical form, right? So, examples, pairing a noun with a noun, pairing a verb with a verb, pairing a phrase with a phrase, pairing an infinitive with an infinitive, or pairing a clause with a clause. So we're going to look at this in this class for sure. There's not enough examples here, but let's look. Parallelism is also important when writing an enumeration or outline. Each statement should be structured in a similar manner. Okay, very quickly, here are some examples. Examples of parallel construction: correct noun form, right? In retailing, comma, computers are used for product inventory, right? Now, this is the actual nouns we're talking about. This is the series, right? Parallelism has got to do with series. One or two, or a series is two or more. So here we have three. We have product inventory, sales records, and customer information, right? And you have also the last one here that you can, the incorrect version. I'll even give you another incorrect version. All right, so this is correct. Why? Because you've got adjective, noun, adjective, noun, adjective, noun. Now, that's correct. That's parallelism because you have all three with an adjective and a noun. So let's remove one adjective, right? So if we say in retailing, computers are used for product inventory, records, and customer information. Records does not have, if I take off the adjective here, this is not parallelism because this one is not the same as the other two. Even if I take off this one, let's say, try this again. In retailing, computers are used for product inventory, records, and information. That is wrong. It is not parallelism. If one has an adjective like product inventory, records and information have to have one also. Okay? Also incorrect. In retailing, computers are used for recording inventory. Now, if you change the phrase, change it to some kind of clause or phrase, right? That also is wrong because they're not parallel. Are used for recording information, inventory, I should say, to record sales, and for customer information. For, to, and for. These are, here you got for recording inventory, that's correct. To record sales, and for customer information, these are not parallel, right? They have to be all four, and they also have to have a gerund, right? For recording, to record, for recording sales, and for customer information, or for informing customers would make it correct, right? So this is wrong. It does not parallel. Correct verb form. The critic reviewed the play and gave it an excellent rating. That is correct. Reviewed the play, right? And gave it an excellent rating. Now you're going to ask me, why isn't there a comma here? Right? You should know this because you did the exam and you did this in the last chapter. I'm not going to say it. You tell me why there's no comma here, right? The critic reviewed the play and gave it an excellent rating. Reviewed, gave are both past verbs, right? Past tense verbs. Reviewed in the past tense, gave in the past tense, right? If this wasn't if it read something like this, the critic reviewed the play and will give or gives it an excellent review. And now all of a sudden this is wrong. It's not parallel. This is in present tense and this is in the past tense. These two have to be in the same tense, right? Here we go. This is incorrect. The critic reviewed the play and the rating is excellent, right? Reviewed the play and the rating is excellent are not the same. They're not parallel, okay? More examples of parallel construction. Correct adjective form. Now, the sales seminar was interesting, informative, and beneficial. Right? First of all, how do you know these three are adjectives modifying seminar or sales seminar, right? How do you know it's not an adverb modifying was, right? Very simply here, you could do the very test, V-E-R-Y. The sales seminar was very interesting, very informative, and very beneficial. So yes, you can still use very, very, very. That tells you that these three are adjectives and not adverbs, right? So incorrect. So, but again, they have to be the same. If I would use very here, I would have to use very here, and I would have to use very there. Now you've got parallel construction, right? Please watch this video before you come to class. Watch it. If you do not watch it, I will know, and I will tell you to watch the video, right? I will not repeat stuff that I have repeated in the video 5-6 times in class. Corrective infinitive form, right? The retailer will use the internet to advertise, infinitive, its products, and to interact, infinitive, with the customers. To advertise, to interact are infinitive forms, right? And they have to be exactly the same. To and to. Incorrect. The retailer will use the internet advertising its products and to interact with the customers. Advertising its products and to interact with the customers are not parallel. They have to read the same way, right? If not, they're not parallel. I know you'll have questions, but I know you have to do this before you come to class. Please watch the video and we'll try to answer all your questions no matter how they are. Thank you.